When we wake up in the morning, we thank God for life. We thank Him that we made it through the night safe and sound. But then recently, I realized that one of the things that we need to add on that list of the first things we thank God for in the morning is to be able to love the life that you have. Hi, guys. I hope you're doing fine. Welcome to yet another episode of Joanne's Two Cents podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about something very delicate, very important to me and to most of you that are believers. In our episode today, I'm going to throw more light on God. Yeah, so let's get started. I really never thought that there will be a day that will come to pass where I am using my platform, my space to openly and loudly speak about God. Yeah, I always told myself or always claimed that I am a Christian. I'm a believer. I believe in God, and that's good enough. I never really obsessed about Him. Like God, God, those staunch Christians that speak about God all the time. I never used to be that person. So of course, life happens to you, and there are situations that happen that draw you or cause you to embrace or adopt a certain lifestyles. So my most recent experiences have had me build a very different relationship with my faith in God. So if you've been following me in our recent episodes, you've noticed one common rule that I put all around, which is being intentional. Yeah. Uh, Being intentional is, we all know what it means, right? To set a clear plan for your life and actually follow it. I always thought that that was enough, that you wake up in the morning and decide, I want this for my life, and I am going to do all it takes to be able to get that. Uh, Unfortunately, I actually used to judge people who are not intentional and assume they didn't do enough. They just weren't intentional enough or didn't really want something out of their life enough to be able to chase it, until I realized that in actual sense, being intentional is not enough. You need more than just being intentional about life to be able to make it. So in our episode today, I'm going to emphasize more about our relationship with God and how His presence in your life has an enormous amount of potential to be able to set you apart from the rest of the people in the world. So throughout last year, which is 2022, I'd spent the whole year really obsessing about being intentional. I'd had this revelation about my life that I thought and actually believed that if I am intentional enough to make the right decisions in my life, to make all these calculative plans, to do this fast and last, I would actually be successful. Like I was so obsessed with the plan I had put in place. And then I think one thing I actually forgot at the end of the day was I am here because of God. He put me in this world, He has a calling for me, and I have to be able to be willing to walk within that calling for me to be able to live the life that I want. My most recent encounters taught me one thing, that at the end of the day, we are really just moving on God's plans for us. Like, however much we are, our ego is so inflated that I bought myself this car, I bought myself this phone, this house, I was able to pull this off, I was able to be the first in my class. As much as we try to take credit for that or give that credit to the other people, our professors or our parents, at the end of the day, one thing I realized that it was all good. I am guessing probably you knew, but I feel like for a long time I had lost memory of that, to understand that at the end of the day, I have zero control over my life. That I wake up in the morning, get out of this house, go about the day in town or wherever I am, and to be able to come back home safely and sound in one piece is such an underrated blessing that I really thanked God. I'm not saying I was not spiritual last year. I was spiritual, but like on a more, like God was more like a side, you know. something you go to on Sunday to, like, let us see, to thank someone for. And I feel like it left me so obsessed with having so much control over my life to, like, want to do things a certain way, which at the end of the day is very, very draining. So, with the lessons I've learned lately, I've realized that there is so much peace in understanding that God has a plan for you. He always has. You are top of the class because that was His plan for you. There is so much power in letting things go and leaving it to Him and trusting in Him that He actually has the best plans for you. That He is in charge of life for you. That you don't have to carry it all on your own. You don't have to figure out the man you'll marry, the job you'll get. It is enough that you speak to Him and tell Him what you need, and also trust in Him that whatever is happening in your life is part of His plan for you. Life has taught me that to wake up in the morning and have taste for food, or to just open your windows and look at the sun for it to look beautiful in your face, because they say rise and shine, the sun is bright out and beautiful. For you to be able to wake up in the morning and appreciate all these pleasantries in life is such an underrated blessing that I feel like we overlook or underlook a lot of times, that you think it's guaranteed for you to wake up in the morning and want to brush your teeth or take a shower or even get out of bed. We thank God for life, that you made it through in the morning, but I believe it's we need to thank Him and pray for the love of your life, like to be able to stay and fall in love with the life you're living. And that right there is the reason I learned to not judge people. Like, when you see someone that they're probably not doing their best, you keep thinking they have so much potential to be able to do so much better for their life. So let's extend grace to one another, really. Let's pray for each other. If we can, please work on your personal relationship with God. Forget the part where I said be intentional, have a plan for your life, take charge of your life. Yes, those really do stand, but as hard as you're working to improve on those, please work on improving and growing your relationship with the power above everything. If you do not believe in God, you must believe that there is the power that exceeds human nature, the power of the universe, whichever way you define your God. Please find a way of building that close relationship with God. I feel like it makes a whole absolute difference, because people that are more in touch with God have more understanding of a lot of things. Even when they're experiencing challenges, they don't take it upon themselves. They understand it as a way of God molding them and shaping them and preparing them for a better thing that's coming in the future. Their wisdom is not just human nature, black and white. This is good, this is bad. Most of their understanding, I have spoken to people who are very religious, who are very rich spiritually, and I am mind blown by how they see life. They're way smarter people than I thought I was. I always believed I ought to have a plan. I have to get a job at this age. I have to have kids at this age, and I was so obsessed with that plan that I never took time to actually give credit to God for how far I've come at this point of my life. I I don't know, did I always think it was me? Yeah, I always give credit to my mom, my friends, the people that have uplifted me, my mentor, myself, like how, like that, that video of Snoop Dogg saying, I want to thank me for not giving up. Yes, so I was more of that person who really just gave credit to a lot of other things, myself, the people around me, but I really never took time to actually thank God and really acknowledge the fact that if it was not for Him, my God, where would I be? I am. So from today onwards, you're gonna get sick of me. I'm going to manifest His name so much in my life that even on the rough days, I'm gonna give that credit to Him, that He took me through that fire, through that storm, and here I am, and this is what I learned through that storm. So life is hard out here. I know, I can see it. I feel like I can smell it, I can sense it, I can feel it when I'm moving around. I can tell when someone is okay, when someone is lost in thought, when someone is struggling. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever you are going through last time, or whatever is coming your way, I hope you find a way of working through it with God. If you're out there and you're like, oh, so you first went through a rough time and then remembered God, is what I want to say to you. We only go to the doctors when we are sick, so it's fair enough. Please don't feel guilty for seeking God when you're in a rough space or you're going through a rough time. It is very okay. Tough times like that really help people find their grounding with God. So don't be ashamed. I used to be very ashamed to speak about issues concerning God loudly. Um, but at the time, I am working really hard to learn, to understand Him, how He works, how He speaks to us, how how things are spiritually. I want to be able to have that knowledge spiritually. I don't want to have the earthly knowledge only, and I feel like a combination of both. I've seen people who are well educated and then they are so rich spiritually. My God, they are the goat. They are the greatest of all times. They're very admirable. Like they really have their life together, even when their life is falling apart. The grace they hold, the patience, the calmness they hold, even in the middle of a storm, is appealing. So I recommend that you find a way of working on your spiritual relationship with God today. Whether things are going terrifically fine or you're in a rough space, whatever you are going through, so long as you listen to this episode, please take the time and find a way of working on your spiritual relationship with the power above all of us. So, thank you for taking the time to listen in. I hope this was a value addition to you. Um, I hope you learned something. One last thing before I forget. One thing I want to emphasize, yeah, prayer is more of like how you speak to your best friend. Do not feel manipulated or guilty to you're supposed to like pray some type of way to be able to be heard by God. I've been taught that speak to him the same way you'd speak to your very close friend, a friend that actually understands you. So pray the best way you know how to. You could sing songs, you could sit down and kneel down in your bedroom and tell him. You don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to do it some type of way. There is no actual type of way, there is no actual format of how you speak to God. Whichever way comes natural to you, deliver your prayer in a very respectable, honorable manner for him to be able to hear you. And then while you pray, now this is this is one thing I learned recently, is that take time and listen to him. Let not all the time, not all the encounters with God be the one where you're the one speaking. Oh God, I want a car. Dear Lord, my job is terrible. I am stressed. Please help me out. Like take time and actually listen to him. He's saying something. But most of the time, we're so carried away to be the ones that are saying something to him that we miss the message. So, in your encounters with him, spare some time and listen to him. It could be through meditation, it could be through music you're listening to, or when you wake up in the morning and think about him. There are those thoughts that come to your mind, and out of the blue, sometimes, some days I have songs coming to my mind out of the blue in the middle of the morning, and sorry, at the start of the morning, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so please, my beloved, I while we carry on in our journey to become the best version of ourselves, may we grow spiritually. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening in. Bye.